Pontius Pilate was the fifth prefect of the Roman province of Judea, serving under Emperor Tiberius from 36 AD. As governor, Pilate had the authority to sentence criminals, even decide life and death. This authority would lead Pilate to make one of the most influential decisions in history, ordering the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Pilate presided over Jesus' trial and handed down the sentence that led to his excruciating death on the cross. This pivotal moment set in motion the founding of Christianity. But who was Pontius Pilate beyond his biblical role? And what ultimately happened to the man who killed Jesus? Let's take a deeper look at the life and death of Pontius Pilate. To understand how Pilate ended up sentencing Jesus to death, we need to look at his rise to power. Historians believe Pilate was born in central Italy around the year 15 AD. As a young man, he joined the Roman military and quickly moved up the ranks. Pilate first arrived in Judea around 26 AD when he was appointed prefect by Emperor Tiberius. This made him the fifth governor of the province of Judea. Now, Judea was a hotbed of unrest and uprisings at this time. As governor, it was Pilate's job to maintain order and stamp out any rebellions against Roman rule. By all accounts, Pilate had a ruthless reputation. Ancient historians describe him as cruel, arrogant, and hostile toward the local Jewish population. He ruled Judea with an iron fist, swift to authorize violent punishments for any perceived dissent. For instance, Philo of Alexandria wrote that Pilate feared uprisings so much that he would ruthlessly crush any hint of rebellion. He describes one incident where Pilate used money from the temple treasury to build an aqueduct. When Jewish citizens understandably protested, Pilate sent in soldiers disguised as civilians who violently hacked many protesters to death with daggers. So here was a man who clearly had no qualms about killing for Rome. This tells us a lot about the mindset Pilate was in when Jesus was brought before him. The Jewish leaders accused Jesus of inciting rebellion against Roman authority. To Pilate, stamping out any potential uprising took priority over judging whether the charges were fair. His violent track record shows he was ready to sentence Jesus to death the moment he posed a political threat. So in many ways, Pilate was like a ticking time bomb, ready to violently squash anything that remotely challenged Roman dominance in Judea. Jesus just happened to be the one who lit his fuse. So when Jesus of Nazareth was brought before Pilate, accused of rebellion and blasphemy by the Jewish high priests, Pilate was predisposed to view him as a threat. According to the Gospels, the priests demanded Pilate sentence Jesus to death, though under Roman law, only the governor could authorize execution. At first, Pilate was reluctant. He even tried to transfer the case to Herod Antipas, tetrarch of Galilee, hoping to avoid personal involvement. But the priests stirred up the crowd into a frenzy, shouting for Jesus' crucifixion. Pilate could see the situation escalating quickly. If he refused to punish Jesus, it could lead to unrest or even riot. So what did he do? He symbolically washed his hands before the crowd, absolving himself of guilt. But ultimately, he handed Jesus over to be flogged and crucified. Why didn't Pilate stand firm and pardon Christ? Well, remember Pilate's background. He ruled Judea with brute force and had no issues with violence. He likely calculated that the easiest way to prevent an uprising was to give the people what they wanted: the execution of Jesus. Even if he personally believed Jesus was innocent, Pilate prioritized political stability over justice. He saw Jesus' death as a necessary sacrifice to maintain the peace and Rome's power. So as tensions escalated, Pilate faced a difficult choice: uphold his own ethics or appease the volatile crowd. But here's something I gotta ask. Was Pilate really just a puppet in all this? I mean, the crowds were totally out for blood, demanding Jesus be nailed to a cross. The priests were stirring everyone up into a frenzy. You could say Pilate got caught up in the mob mentality, right? He was just a dude trying to keep the peace against angry demands coming from every direction. Can we really blame the guy for making a pragmatic choice in the heat of the moment? But then again, he was the governor, and not just any governor. This was a guy known for being ruthless and hostile. He had the authority to put his foot down and protect an innocent man's life if he wanted to. So even if the politics and crowds pressured him, didn't Pilate ultimately fail in his conscience by handing over Jesus to be crucified when he knew it was wrong? That's a heavy thing for any leader to have on their legacy. What do you think? Was Pilate just a victim of circumstance, or did he shirk his duty when it mattered most? Curious to hear your thoughts on this one. Pilate's choices may seem hypocritical and cowardly, but he felt maintaining order was his duty as governor, no matter how reprehensible the means. This fateful compromise had monumental repercussions, setting in motion the crucifixion at the heart of Christian theology. So after condemning Jesus to death, Pontius Pilate continued governing Judea with cruelty and corruption, but his abuses of power soon caught up with him. Around 36 AD, Pilate was summoned back to Rome by Emperor Tiberius after violently suppressing a Samaritan protest. Once in Rome, Pilate vanished from the historical record. According to trusted traditions, he was executed by order of Emperor Caligula, who was disturbed by Pilate's unjust crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Other sources say that Pilate, filled with guilt over condemning Jesus, took his own life in Rome by falling on his sword or drinking poison. His body was then thrown into the Tiber River. So while the precise details are debated, it seems clear Pilate's life ended abruptly and terribly shortly after being recalled from Judea. The disgraced governor met his end in Rome, likely executed by the emperor or by his own hand. His suicide or martyrdom completed Pilate's total downfall. Within a few years, the name of the man who sentenced Jesus to the cross faded from history, but his legacy was sealed. He would be forever remembered as the villain who enabled the crucifixion, setting in motion the founding of Christianity. Pontius Pilate's name has gone down in history tied to one pivotal moment, ordering the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. As governor of Judea, his fateful decision during Jesus' trial set the Passion story in motion. Pilate calculated that sacrificing one righteous man was necessary to avoid unrest in Judea and protect Roman interests. This political pragmatism over conscience has defined his legacy for posterity, but how we judge Pilate's story raises complex questions. Should he be remembered only for his pivotal role in Jesus' death, or considered in a more nuanced light? The legends of Pilate's own grisly demise paint him as a haunted, cursed soul facing divine retribution. But do you think Pilate's terrible end was deserved punishment? Should his entire life be defined by one choice? Reflecting on Pontius, Pilate invites us to look deeper at leadership, conscience, legacy, and justice. His compromised decision echoes through history, leaving an ambiguous, conflicted figure in its wake. Feel free to share your insights on Pilate's narrative and the lessons it offers in leadership and ethics. Join the conversation in the comments section, and if you enjoyed this content, please show your support by liking the video. Don't forget to subscribe to stay connected on this historical journey. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to engaging with all you seekers in my next video. God bless you all.